Hello, Times Cryptic, let's go. Friend of the setter's endless love for horse. Nope. Dish made by Father Fitzgerald, the legendary jazz singer. Yes, this is paella. So paella is a dish, father is pa, and Fitzgerald, the legendary jazz singer, is Ella, because there was an Ella Fitzgerald. Fire supporter with Irish cricket side. No. Letters to begin with, merit, study. Nope. Yes, this is learn. So letters to begin with is the initial letter of letters. Merit is earn, that gives learn, which means study. Old dairy cow, longing to be raised under tree. No. What could be DC, Andy, Walterson's workplace? Well, I don't know how this works, but just based on the clue lengths, I can see that New Scotland Yard fits, and that is the name of the building where London's police force is based. And a DC is an abbreviation for a detective constable. So the whole clue could be read as a definition. And if it's an and lit clue, it could also be read as wordplay. So what could be looks like an anagram indicator. And we do have DC Andy in the answer. And I think we have Walterson as well. Old sorcerer following current line in descriptive language. Nope. Seaman's month in borders of Ecuador. Well, the borders of Ecuador are surely E and R. Yeah, so I think this is mariner. A mariner is a seaman. Month is Ma, short for March. In is in, and then borders of Ecuador, E and R. Old dairy cow, longing to be raised under tree. This is Alderney. So an Alderney is, I think, a breed of cow. I don't know what the old refers to. But longing is yen, and to be raised is a reversal indicator. Under tree, under older. Fire supporter. I think this is and iron. I think an andiron is something which you can rest hot things on near a fire. With is and, Irish is IR, the abbreviation, and cricket side is on. Suitable position in town I cherish. This is a hidden clue. A niche is a suitable position, and in is a hidden indicator. So beginning with the N of town, we can read niche. Exults over old Labour leaders, wrinkle. This is crow's foot. So exults is crows over old Labour leader. Well, Labour is a reference to the Labour Party, a political party in the UK, which was once led by Michael Foot. So old Labour leader is foot. That gives crow's foot, which is a wrinkle. Starchy food finally chosen to take in one's drink. Nope. Excitement of head abandoning merrymaking. No. Do what's required as couriers are expected to. I wonder if this is deliver the goods. I think the goods is definitely correct. Deliver may not be. But to deliver the goods is to do what's required, and quite literally, couriers are expected to deliver the goods. Article about quiet European with pallid complexion. I think this is ashen. Article is an, the indefinite, an indefinite article in grammar. About quiet, sh is an interjection meaning quiet. European is e, the abbreviation. That gives ashen, which means with pallid complexion. Excitement of head abandoning merrymaking. Nope, still not getting that. Deprived of nationality, it's not verbally declared. Yeah, I think this is unstated. So the question mark indicates that the answer could be read as meaning deprived of nationality, but it isn't literally used in that sense. So you could regard unstated as meaning that somebody's been deprived of a state or deprived of nationality. But it actually means not verbally declared. Restricted means of storing data involving waste. No. Idea, albeit ultimately deficient. This is thought. So a thought is an idea, albeit is though, and ultimately deficient tells us to take the ultimate or last letter of the word deficient. Now, two connected but otherwise isolated clues. Excitement of head abandoning merrymaking. Yeah, this is arousal. So arousal is excitement and merrymaking is carousal. So head abandoning carousal leaves arousal, which is excitement. So an orphan clue. Restricted, means of storing data involving waste. This is closed. So closed means restricted. Means of storing data is a reference to CD. Involving waste, involving lose. Waste being treated as a verb for this purpose. Starchy food, already looked at that. Spring celebration, Scottish one, featuring in weekly, perhaps. What is this? I'm just wondering if it could be May Day. But I don't think it is. Weekly could be a reference to a mag, short for a magazine. Let me look at the downs. Wise man slated the thing we're told. Nope. Native of Midlothian say, initially looking over lock during ramble. Midlothian is a place in Scotland. So this could be Lowlander, and I think it is. In Scotland you have Lowlanders and Highlanders. So Lowlander is native of Midlothian, and then initially looking is the initial letter of looking. Over is O, the cricketing abbreviation. Lock is L, the abbreviation. During ramble, during wander. Ship's officer carrying revolutionary weapon. Gosh, is this another appearance by our old friend, the revolutionary Che Guevara? Possibly, in which case we're looking for a four-letter ship's officer, and the whole thing is a weapon. So indeed, we have machete. Ship's officer is mate, carrying revolutionary, carrying Che gives machete, which is a weapon. Abstainer visiting north, always smartly dressed. An abstainer is a teetotaler, so I think we get natty here. So teetotaler is abbreviated to TT. Visiting north, N, the abbreviation, and always, AY. I means always. So TT in N and AY gives natty, which means smartly dressed. Friend of the setters. Endless love for horse. Wow. And it's friend O apostrophe the setters. Ah, yeah, this is, well, it begins palo min. Let's see if this works. Friend O the setters, pal O mine. Endless, yep, mine without its N letter. And then love, which is O, because love is a score of 0 in tennis, and 0 looks like the letter O. That gives palomino, which is a type of horse. Old sorcerer, following current line in descriptive language. This is imagery. So, old sorcerer is mage. Following current, well, I is the symbol for electrical current. Line is RY, short for railway. That gives imagery, which is descriptive language. Now, another orphan clue. Wise man slated the thing we're told. Yep, this is pandit. So a pandit is another spelling of pundit, which is a wise man. And we're told is a homophone indicator. So slated is panned, P-A-N-N-E-D, and the thing is it. So pandit sounds like pandit, which is the answer. Monkey, lawgiver, briefly, observed in trade centre. So I think this is marmoset. A marmoset is a monkey. Lawgiver, briefly. Yes, Moses was a lawgiver in the Bible and briefly tells us to ignore the last letter. In trade centre, in mart. Sloth, perplexed, last of zoologists in Leeds. This is idleness. So idleness is sloth, and perplexed is an anagram indicator for the last letter of zoologists and in Leeds. Retired petty officer, guaranteed appearance in public. Nope. Starchy food, finally chosen to take in one's drink. Yeah, this is potation. So starchy food is potato. Finally chosen is the final letter of chosen. To take in one's, to take in I. That gives potation, which means drink. Greek character notes Catholic dignitaries' top position. Wow, don't know. Vehicle diverted in vain, south of motorway. This is minivan. So a minivan is a vehicle, and diverted is an anagram indicator for in vain. South of motorway, south of M, the abbreviation for motorway. Women's quarters, some time back, kept by monarch. This is harem, spelt with an E. So harem is women's quarters, and sometime is era. Back is a reversal indicator. Kept by monarch, kept by HM, short for His Majesty or Her Majesty. And the sometime being era is how this spelling is distinguished from the HARIM spelling. Get better, band together. Wow. Don't know. So let me pause briefly and do my quick typo squiz. Make sure everything in is as intended. All the acrosses look good. Yeah, down's looking good. Let me just revisit Pandit, that it definitely is Pandit, not Pundit. Yeah. Slated is panned and not punned. Okay, so let me have another look at 17 down. Greek character. Well, that could be chi. Let's see if this helps. Notes. Well, that could be any of the musical notes A to G, or it could be N, but it is plural. Catholic could be C. Dignitaries, top position. Wow, I'm not getting that. And it may not begin chi. Could begin phi, also a Greek alphabet letter. Slips up about joiners, assignments. Well, I don't know what this is, but I do note that slips up is plural and assignments is plural, so it may end in S. Retired petty officer. Well, that could be an XPO, with PO being the abbreviation for petty officer. Guaranteed is sure. That gives exposure, which is appearance in public. Fantastic. That confirms the S. Slips up about joiners. Wow, what is a joiner? I don't know. Spring celebration. Okay, so it's not May Day. But it could begin May, in which case it would have an M here. And I'm going to revisit 17 down because we're looking for position, and a number of positions end dumb. Greek characters. Notes. Catholic dignitaries. Well, a dom, I think, is a Catholic dignitary. So we're looking for a top position, and that is chiefdom. Fantastic. So let me rehearse this. Greek character is chi. Notes are E and F, musical notes. Catholic dignitary is dom. That gives chiefdom, which is a top position, the position of a chief. Now, does this help? Slips up. Well, that could be ers. And it is. So this is errands. Slips up is ers. About joiner, well, the joiner is the word and. So ers about and gives errands, which are assignments. 2 clues to go, the final push. Get better. Band together. Is this rally? To get better is to rally in one's health. But does rally mean band together? If you attend a rally, you're getting together with a group of other people, so I think that may be the reference. I'm 90% sure this is right. Spring celebration, May something. Scottish One, featuring in weekly, perhaps. I must be able to solve this. This is ridiculous. Spring celebration. Gosh, I think this is Maying. This is obscure. So, I think Maying is some activity, which is a spring celebration. Scottish One, I think yin is Scottish for one. Featuring in weekly, perhaps featuring in mag. So there we go. Every clue solved, every clue explained, no empty squares. Submit, submit. Hope and pray. No errors. Fantastic. Wow, what a super puzzle. I loved that. Absolutely fantastic fun from the Times, as always. Great range of words. And a fairly smooth solve with just some sticky weather in the bottom left corner. But I think Chiefdom unlocked the way to getting the remaining clues. Now, I think I mentioned last week that there'd been the hardest ever Times puzzle sold or published recently in the Times, and that I still had a lot of clues left unsolved after 30 minutes. What I should have mentioned at the time is that if you wanted to see it being solved, then that puzzle was attempted by Simon Anthony of the Cracking the Cryptic YouTube channel. They do a Times crossword solving masterclass every Friday, and this particular one was number 110. So if you want to watch Simon having a go at solving that puzzle, do check that out. And back to this puzzle. Well, absolutely super fun. I hope you enjoyed. The snitch. Yeah, well, this has got to be on the easier side. And I think this is about 3 weeks running that the puzzle has been significantly easier than an average Times puzzle. So I think this is going to be in the 50s or 60s. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching that solve. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.